Good morning and welcome to another inspirational story with Dr. Anna from my book, Practical Spirituality 1, Finding Spirit in Everyday Life, available in Amazon as a book, an ebook, and as an audiobook in OSound, and the book of quotes, inspirational quotes. This story is called Discover Your Strengths. Sometime in the process of the transition from the old you to the new you, a truly miraculous thing happens, and I call it the manifestation of your new strengths. When I first came across this concept, I couldn't imagine me having new strengths. The reason is because we tend to think of ourselves as having specific natural gifts, and we identify with them. Then throughout our lives, we work on these gifts, modify them, using them to different extents in different places, for instance at work, or in different situations in everyday lives, adapting and flowing around them. But how many of us think of developing or manifesting completely new skills, especially if these skills used to be our weaknesses? We would view our character partly through the lack of those qualities or characteristics that we thought we would never have. And I call this rounding yourself up. You see, after a certain amount of work on yourself, as you work on the specific qualities, other qualities are developed in a parallel way. Those unobserved skills only become apparent when you allow yourself to have enough space to let whatever needs to manifest to do so. That means to release control. And when you are prepared to let whatever needs to come out to play, to come back to you, and that is to release fear. But what does all this mean? You nurture your strengths when you are true to yourself, when you choose you above everything else, when you are in integrity, integrated. And the reason is that you are not using your energy to hold the pieces of your being together because you are following your intuition. So rather than relying on your willpower to make things happen or create your reality, you release your natural gifts. And these qualities are manifested or externalized in a way that you can actually see them. If you acknowledge them and don't dismiss them, then they become stronger. After this, a phenomenon happens. Your new discovered strengths seem to take a personality of their own, a strong personality of their own. And as you focus on them, more like help them grow, discover them, experiment with them, see how you can use them, see how you can put them into benefit, all your energy and attention gathers around them. And then you start attracting better opportunities because you are no longer looking at your life from your limitations, but through the new lenses of your strengths. As you expand, these become beams of light, beacons that call your future towards you. One of my teachers said to me a long time ago, "Your reality of today is the result of the way you saw the world yesterday." So by shifting your attitude and the way of thinking now, you are creating your reality of tomorrow. And that was a great truth. As you start seeing life under a light of expansiveness, you get excited about the new world of possibilities that you feel coming towards you. You are keeping alert and awake and trust this feeling. The moment you decide in your heart and your mind, I will not tolerate this any longer, whatever that may be. You are calling the universe to bring to you your next challenge. You have reached a new level and you are ready to graduate in that level in the school of life. So welcome these new strengths, recognize them, acknowledge them and accept them because you never know where they will lead you. But in the stage of transition, we need to let go of the old safety, maybe a job, a situation or relationship that we used to have or still have and identified with. But now we need a moment of courage, a moment of truth. As it is explained in Sacred Contracts by Caroline Myss, this is the time when the old is no longer the leading force in your life, and the time when the future has not fully manifested in the physical world yet. This is the moment of trust, a moment of strength. You need to feel the expansiveness of the non-formed reality and relish in the excitement of the limitless future that you are having, the great honor and privilege to seeing as it is becoming and being born right in front of your eyes. Nothing in nature stays as a vacuum. As soon as a gap is made, it gets filled straight away. You don't see the full perspective of all the links coming together because we lack the point of perspective that the universe has. And this is why it's so important not to walk backwards. In fact, I would say that once you have reached this point, you can't really walk backwards, even if you wanted to, because you have expanded beyond the person you used to be. And that old life doesn't fit you any longer. It is as if the snake tried to go back to the old shed skin that is now just too small, that it has no luster, that is broken into pieces, only because it's scared to shine brighter or to be stronger and more powerful. It's just not going to happen. The shift happens when you realize that your skills are simply a stepping stone in the development of who you are. In our heart, there is always a set of skills that we know we need to develop to become that bigger being. We know that we need a renewed effort, something different we did before. For instance, study something new, join a new group, shift our attitude or our mindset. And the problem is that we don't really know what the benefit will be or how will all map out. But the question here is my life of today a sacrifice I am willing to make? Am I prepared to let go of the opportunities around the corner just because I know that it takes energy and effort? Am I prepared to graduate in the school of life? Or do I want to remain as an eternal student? Am I going to let my ego lead my life, or am I going to stay in integrity and allow my higher self to show me the way? In other words, am I honoring the fact that I am an ever-expanding being, or am I going to settle for limitation, shrinking of my own soul in a more and more asphyxiating environment? Will I allow my life to be reorganized around my newfound strengths, giving them the status of a spiritual lighthouse, allowing them to beam with their own light and call or attract the future that is awaiting for me, that is mine to have? Am I going to stop using my willpower alone to accomplish everything, or will I give my intuition some space? You know when this shift happens because you will get a lot done, but in a fraction of the energy that you used to need. You will feel less exhausted and more energized. When we run on our emergency mode for a long period of time, every part of our system wears out much quicker and much deeper. And it takes longer to build it up again, if you want to recover, because it all has been forced at a speed that couldn't hold. The secret is to take ownership of your own light and stop others trying to dim it or push it around according to how or when it suits them, and regardless of how it affects you. This means that you will therefore have strengthened your wires, emotional and spiritual bodies, so you will be able to stand rejection, lies, deceit, untruths, backstabbing, pushovers, any other form of manipulation or integrity damage. This will allow you to go ahead in your soul's goal of being heard and telling your truth or standing by your truth. Remember, a building is only as strong as its foundations. When a building is out of integrity, it simply collapses, no matter how high or flashy it is. Yes, expect to go through the stages of grievance, pain, anger, acceptance, adjustment to the new flow, and so on. But once your present is accepted and acknowledged, you know that you are riding the wave of flow. Look at what you have to lose or how much it will cost you in terms of your own self-esteem, dignity, and energy, and choose always me first. Thank you for listening. See you next time.